Tennessee hosts UAB in a game of mismatches all over the field. The Vols will try to ease the pain of a heartbreaking loss to Georgia last Saturday. So join me as I break down this matchup and what I hope to see in Knoxville this Saturday. Welcome to the Vol Patriot Podcast. I am your host, the Vol Patriot, patriot of the Volunteer Nation, and my co-host, Jay Mello. This podcast is for the people, by the people, specifically Tennessee football, but also college football as a whole. We're going to cover weekly updates, pre-game and post-game reviews, in-game specifics, and of course, hot takes. We will talk about things that most sports podcasts are afraid to discuss. You'll hear it here and only here on the Vol Patriot Podcast. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, go Big Orange, go Vols. Good morning, Vol faithful. Another beautiful day here in the land of the free. Tennessee takes on UAB, and that's what we're here for. Let's get into the matchups because I'm really liking the advantage that Tennessee has here in this game. Ultimately, guys, Tennessee has an opportunity to come out here, execute, and put last week kind of behind us and start pushing forward, start building on what we had already started at the beginning of the season. Our offense is rolling. Our defense is really starting to come together. Yeah, we gave up 44 points to Georgia last week. There were some reasons why, I believe, but ultimately, I think we're progressing. Our guys are learning. And to be honest, there aren't going to be too many teams that we're going to see better than Georgia. Do I think there is a team out there that's better than Georgia? Most definitely, but that's for another conversation. We got a UAB this week, and that's what we got to focus on. Tennessee has to show up in this game and show out. Do I honestly believe that UAB is going to pose a threat to Tennessee? No. And if you think so, I want to know what you're smoking. I just don't believe that UAB has the dudes to compete with Tennessee for four quarters, and they definitely don't have the depth chart, guys. This leads us to our matchups. I want to talk about UAB first. You know, you look across the board, and as we say, they just don't have the dudes, guys. But one particular player stands out for me, and that's their quarterback. The quarterback play has seemed relatively well. We're talking about Jalen Kitna. He's standing at 6'5", weighing 225 pounds. You know, solidly built quarterback. He's been in the league for a while. This guy came out of Florida a couple years back. There was a situation and they let him go. But he's overcome the situation, and he himself is an improved player, I believe. So I think he's playing good ball for UAB. And when you match up this quarterback with the play calling that their offensive coordinator is putting together. I've seen some of their schemes. Shout out to the Blue Chip Breakdown. The guy does a great job of breaking down footage. You kind of see how they scheme their guys open. And for a team that doesn't have the dudes, it could be problematic. And I mean, just all around good schemes. They get their guys open, and he can find them. However, you're playing against Tennessee, and, you're not going to have the time that you typically think you should have. You're going to be running for your life. So we're going to see just how good his eyes are. We're going to see just how good their coordinator can scheme their guys up, see how good their offensive line can hold the block. They're going to be challenged in ways that, they're going to make them uncomfortable, as they should. This is Tennessee, and our defense is up there. Dare I say elite. What I do believe the matchup's going to be is it's going to be Tim Banks versus their offensive coordinator. Is Tim Banks going to make the proper adjustments, and put our guys in position to make the winning play? Too many times last week, as I said before, our guys could have made the play, but they just weren't in the best position at times. They didn't, and we got kind of left out to dry a couple of times, which resulted in big chunk plays. Dare I say, the 4th and 6 touchdown pass they had to, I believe it was Humphreys, and you have Tyler Redmond by himself guarding a wide receiver, no safety help, right over the top, touchdown. We can't have that in this game against UAB, guys. Our coordinator has got to make some adjustments and, like I said, put our guys in position to win. Another key matchup, I'd like to see our offense versus their defense. I don't believe in their defense. I saw that they gave up 28 points to the Akron Zips, who were like 0-2, I think. Not an impressive team. So I want to see Joey Aguilar get a chance to go out here and ball out. Brazel, he took a huge step last week against Georgia. Definitely want to see him get some touches out there. Go ahead and throw him some deep passes, get him going. Definitely want to see Ketzelman get some passes. I think we have utilized our tight ends, but I want to see us utilize them more. I think that's a great wrinkle in Josh Heupel's offense now that he's added, lining up in the pistol. People who know me know that I'm a big fan of the pistol and, other formations. When you line up under center, we're talking about the I formation, so on. I think it's imperative to have these wrinkles in your system to keep defenses, having to constantly adjust to your offense. And then, of course, running your typical, spread them out offense that the Josh Heupel way. When you add all that in there, you give a lot for the defense to have to scheme for. And then when you run the hurry up offense, they got to keep who they have in there, and you can just kind of move around. It makes it really difficult for a defense to adjust. So I look for that matchup also with our quarterback versus their guys, just their defense. It's going to be a fun thing to watch. I see Joey Swagular throwing for another 300 piece, if not more. I think Tennessee has an opportunity to go out here and ball out. And let's get the backups in there. Let's get them some experience. And with that being said, Josh Heupel, don't take your foot off their neck, man. Go, go, go. If we put up 100 points, so daggum be it. Now, I know that's excessive, and I know that it might not be more of a realistic, idea, but the idea is don't play vanilla when we get our guys in, our backups in. Run the offense. Let them get a chance to experience that as well, because who knows, we might need them down the road. The next key matchup I'm looking forward is our secondary. I like to see our secondary respond and blanket the field against this offense, which I believe they're probably going to want to pass heavy. So they're probably going to do a lot of scheming, a lot of motion, misdirection, eye candy, from what I saw their offense do. And they're probably going to try to get their quarterback involved. He's a physical looking guy. I think he can run. So they probably try to, motion, get you looking left and right, maybe misdirection, handoffs, whatever, everything they can. But I mostly believe that they're going to try to get us a little off balance and then hit us with pass plays. I want to see our secondary respond. I want to see Tyler Redmond. I want to see Colton Hood. I want to see those guys lock down the wide receivers out there. I want to see our secondary, Farouk and everyone. I want to see them ball out, man. Turn into ball hawking safeties out there, take the ball out the sky. I want to see them come down and make some plays at the line of scrimmage. I believe in our defensive line. We require eye discipline from our defensive line. When you get caught up trying to make a play and you play outside of your assignment, right? That's how we get beat. And this offense has an opportunity to, if our guys do that, specifically if, I hate to call him out like that, but this is who I've noticed do it a lot. Joshua Josephs crashes in instead of securing that outside line, right? Your job is to seal off the edge, right? So you come off the line. If we're not blitzing a certain package, your job is to come up there and take on that tackle, or even the tight end, depending on, who's lined up on you. Your job is to take on that block and seal the edge and force everything back inside. I need to see that from our guys, because this offense, as I was saying, if they get kind of going in misdirections and motion plays and they do a little quick here and there's, right? Well, you didn't set the edge, you crashed, and now that entire outside is wide open. And you're going to see something like what we saw, almost a touchdown run, against Georgia in overtime, where they were able to kind of kick it out and go for, 10 yards almost into the end zone, where Turnitine had to make a game-saving tackle, if you will. So our guys have got to be disciplined, or, they're going to get some yards. They're going to make some noise. Now, clearly going to make an adjustment, right? But you don't want to see that happen. more than the many. So really looking forward to seeing, our defense ultimately respond. But I want to see our secondary stand out in this game. Last but not least, definitely got to look it over at the offense, our offense specifically. Joey Swagular, that's right, that's the man. They say Joey Football, I say Joey Swagular. The guy's a beast, man. I like to see this man go out here and get a 3-piece, maybe a 4-piece, I don't know if Josh Heupel's going to allow him to let loose, but, get the ball out to Chris Brazzell. He's really stepped up, had a breakout game against Georgia last week, 3 touchdowns, 177 yards, I believe. Big timing right there, Another guy that I want to see break out is Star Thomas, get him some touches. But as much as Star Thomas and Deshaun Bishops have balled out, don't you forget about Peyton Lewis. I think this guy is just one run away from having a breakout year. I think he's that guy. He's just got to remember to keep his shoulder pads level and keep moving. I think the guy has surprised himself. He surprised us. Give him the ball, give him a chance. With that being said, I think Tennessee's offense against this defense should roll. They should roll all over these guys and show them the volunteer boot on our way to victory. Okay, guys, let's talk about key injuries. Well, as you know, we still don't have Jermod McCoy. Not quite sure when his time frame to return will be, but some of us are optimistic. The way Josh Heupel talks about these injuries, you'll never really know who's where. So it's just at this point, they're out. Jermod McCoy's out. Ricky Gibson's out. All right, Jackson Moy's still out. Devin Hobbs is out. So you look at the landscape and you'd love to get a Jackson Moy back or Devin Hobbs, who hasn't, as I said before, he hasn't played all season. We would really love to get one of those guys back to help out with the depth of the interior line. But as always, it's the next man up. As Josh Heupel would say, next man up mentality. We still have to get out there and compete. And we got guys waiting in the wings to get their opportunity to shine. So it would help, but I'm not too concerned, especially against UAB. And, of course, love to get Jermod McCoy back. Oh, my gosh, that would be such a big deal, such a big help. But all things in moderation. You got to have patience. So let's get to predictions of this game. There's no reason why Tennessee shouldn't put up over 50 points on these guys. I believe Tennessee is capable of doing it. And, I'd like to see Tennessee get a shutout as far as not giving up any touchdowns. I think it's a little hard to believe that UAB is not at least going to be in a position to maybe kick a couple of field goals. So I'm going to say UAB puts up 9 points. I'm going to say 9 points, hopefully not that many. But I'm going to say Tennessee gives up 9 points, all field goals. And I'll say Tennessee puts up 60-plus points. I'm not gonna really put a number on it. We'll just say 60-something points. I mean, it's hard. It's really hard to know. Tennessee could really put 70 points on these guys, but I don't think this team's as bad as East Tennessee team was. I think they're a lot better. And with that being said, I still think Tennessee, rolls them over in this game. Offense is just way too much firepower. So yeah, we'll just say 60-something to 9. Tennessee, winning big in this game. Final thoughts. Tennessee's got to play a complete football game. You don't want to come out here and whether it's the first string or second string, and then we kind of play sloppy in the fourth quarter because, whatever. Nope. I want to see Tennessee come out regardless of competition, I should say, and play 4 quarters of football. Execute, right? And that starts from the top down, right? We're talking about Josh Heupel. We're talking about Tim Banks. I want to see Josh Heupel stay aggressive in this game, regardless of who's in. Stay aggressive. Run your playbook and execute. Let's go out here and play our style of football, no matter the score, no matter who's out there. Let's go out there and let's go win it the right way. And then defensively, I need to see Tim Banks put our defense in a position to be successful, right? Let's not leave our guys on an island that are still trying to get their feet underneath them, right? Let's roll some safety help out there, right? And eliminate opportunity for this quarterback to go out there and ball out. The last thing you want to see as a Tennessee fan is to see this guy throw over 250 yards and have a pair of touchdowns in a game that we win big, but you kind of go, what are we doing, right? What are we doing giving up anything to this offense. So, granted, like I said, credit to the blue chip breakdown. Got a chance to see how they kind of run some plays. I myself, did some research on UAB and watched some of their footage. But watching the blue chip breakdown, you're able to really kind of see the routes. They did a good job of breaking it down and putting routes in place. So you kind of see what they want to do. And I'm telling you, if our defense isn't disciplined, if we come in there lackadaisical, yeah, they're going to put some points on the board and you're going to feel a certain way. Defense has got to stay disciplined. Got to keep yourself out of the trash, as I said, right? You got to stay on task, got to stay on your assignment, and don't get caught chasing the big play. And wrap up. Come on, wrap up, make tackles, guys. Outside of that, I think our team's going to be just fine. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening, right? Continue to promote us, man. Help us out. Help the channel. Get us out there, man. Get us out there and promote the Vol Patriot podcast. Guys, like, comment, subscribe. And as always, go Big Orange, go Vols.